I know at one time, your kindness has been taken for granted and even abused. This could have been because you continuously go out of your way and spend too much time being nice and doing nice things to people who don't seem to appreciate it. As much as generosity and kindness are nice traits to have, it's of paramount importance that we take care of ourselves first. Fill your cup first, then it can overflow to others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. By the end of this session today, we shall get to know why being too nice ends up hurting you and how to take care of your own needs first before extending out your arm to others in need. Now, here are 10 reasons why you need to stop being too nice to people who don't deserve it. Number 10. People will reach out only when they need you. When we are always too nice to people, it's easy for them to see us as a means to an end, someone to turn to only when they need something. I have been here and I know how frustrating and how much it hurts to know that someone only looks for you when they need help. While it's important to be helpful and supportive to those around us, we also need to set boundaries to avoid being taken advantage of. Saying no in a kind and assertive manner is crucial to prevent others from seeing us solely as a tool to meet their own goals. It's essential to recognize that we can still be kind and supportive without sacrificing our own needs and well-being. Instead of always saying yes, we can offer alternative ways to help, such as helping the person get organized so that they can become more self-sufficient or referring them to other resources that may be more appropriate. And if you really have to help, make it clear that you can only go so far and they shouldn't expect anything more. By setting healthy boundaries, we show others that we are able to help them when they need us, but we still value ourselves enough to be taken for granted. Number 9. You will be surrounded by needy people. While being kind is important in all types of relationships, failing to set strong boundaries and being clear about how far you can go for others can lead to attracting people who rely on you excessively. Being overly nice can lead to attracting people who are whiny, overly demanding, controlling, and guilt-tripping if you don't do what they ask of you. While it is good to be there for your friends, it is also important to take care of yourself and set boundaries to avoid burnout. Setting limits on your availability can help maintain balance in your relationships. It is important to be aware of people who may take advantage of your kindness and establish healthy boundaries to protect yourself. Number 8. People develop wild expectations of you. If you fail to set boundaries early enough, people will slowly start taking advantage of you, and the more you entertain this, the more they invade you and finally turn you into a doormat. By creating boundaries for yourself, you will gain respect from others and prevent yourself from being taken advantage of. It's important to prioritize your own needs and make sure they are met while still maintaining empathy for those around you. Contrary to popular belief, setting boundaries does not make you selfish or unlikable. In fact, it shows that you value and respect yourself, which in turn encourages others to do the same. Giving too much of yourself can actually lead to resentment and burnout, so it's important to find a balance that works for you. Remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary for a happy and healthy life. Number 7. You lose people's trust. On the list of challenges for genuinely nice people is the issue of trust. Unfortunately, niceness isn't always the norm in certain professional circles, making those who are truly kind and sincere stand out from the crowd. This can lead to misunderstandings and even suspicion from others who assume there must be some hidden motive behind all the generosity. After all, if there's no such thing as a free lunch, there can't be such a thing as being too nice for no reason, can there? The reality is that being too nice in a world where niceness is rare can actually make it harder to build relationships and establish trust, as others may be skeptical of your intentions. Number 6. You start expecting too much from others. When we are overly nice to others, we may unintentionally create unrealistic expectations for them to reciprocate the same level of kindness. This can lead to disappointment and resentment when our expectations are not met. It's important to recognize that being overly selfless can distort our perception of what is reasonable to expect from others. It's not uncommon for people who are too nice to others to expect an unreasonable amount of niceness in return, which can lead to feelings of entitlement and frustration. It's essential to remember that it's our responsibility to take care of our own needs and not rely solely on others to fulfill them. The most important thing to keep in mind is that the people we think are not being nice to us know how to take care of themselves, and they put their well-being first before worrying so much about others. They prioritize themselves. While being kind to others is important, it's equally important to be kind to ourselves and not create unrealistic expectations that can lead to disappointment and bitterness. Number 5. You appear weak. While being nice to others is generally a good thing, it can also be perceived as a sign of weakness if taken too far. People may see you as a pushover and try to take advantage of you. According to research by Jessica Stillman, being too nice can cause others to perceive you as weak, which can hinder your ability to be seen as a strong leader or authority figure. This is especially true in the workplace, where failing to establish boundaries and constantly giving to others can result in people not giving you credit for your accomplishments. It's important to find a balance between being kind and assertive, setting boundaries when necessary, and standing up for yourself and your achievements. By doing so, you can maintain your credibility and earn respect as both a kind and competent individual. Remember, being kind does not mean being weak, and it's important to be both strong and compassionate in equal measure. Number 4. You become needy. One potential drawback of being excessively kind is the risk of becoming needy and overly dependent on people around you. A mental health expert suggests that when you neglect your own needs, you may unconsciously try to fulfill them through external sources. You start looking for validation from your partner, friends, colleagues at work, and everyone else, which can lead to needy and clingy behavior in your relationships. Have you ever found yourself in such a situation? Well, I have, and I must admit that it sucks. Failing to assert yourself and constantly giving to others can result in undervaluing yourself and ultimately becoming needy. And nobody wants to be around needy, attention-seeking, time-sucking vampires. Number 3. You apologize for every little thing.
I'm so sorry. I really am so sorry.
Being overly apologetic is one thing that nice people struggle with a lot. While you may be the kind of person who doesn't like to see others upset, it is important that you don't take on emotional baggage and problems that are not yours to handle in the first place. While it is important to offer help to someone going through a difficult time, you must be careful not to let others place unnecessary emotional burdens on you. It is crucial that you be mindful of the phrase, "I'm sorry," and ensure you don't take responsibility for things that aren't your fault or try to smooth out emotions that the other person should be working on themselves. Number 2. You put yourself last.
Our entire relationship, I've gone above and beyond for you, for us.
When we focus too much on meeting the needs of others, we can easily neglect our own needs and priorities. It's important to find a balance between being kind to others and taking care of ourselves. Neglecting ourselves can lead to physical and mental health issues, burnout, and depression. We need to learn to say no firmly and fairly while being strategic about how we use our time. It's crucial to take care of our basic needs and focus on the longer-term issues that are essential to our own well-being and the health of our businesses. By doing so, we can avoid seeking validation externally and start relying on ourselves for validation. It's essential to remember that being kind to ourselves is just as important as being kind to others. Striking a balance is key to maintaining our own mental and physical health, as well as our ability to be supportive and helpful to those around us. Number 1. You compromise your well-being. When you prioritize others over yourself and always strive to be nice, it can come at a significant cost to your own well-being. You may feel invisible, unworthy, weak, unappreciated, excluded, and lonely. Even if you reach out to others regularly, you may find yourself alone. It's crucial to recognize that focusing solely on external factors instead of addressing what's within your control can be detrimental to your mental health. When you're too nice, you may experience sadness and frustration, which can make your actions seem fake and disingenuous. By prioritizing your own needs and valuing yourself first, you'll begin to appreciate those around you even more. As we wrap up, let's keep in mind that in today's session, the aim was to provide guidance on how to recognize when your efforts to be kind have gone too far and resulted in becoming a pushover. It also highlights the potential hazards of overextending your admirable desire to please others. While kindness is a wonderful trait, it's essential to avoid taking it to an extreme. Remember to prioritize your own self-respect. If you enjoyed this session, you might find the video popping on your screen equally interesting as it reveals to you why other people find you interesting. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of our beautiful Thinks Free community. Let's catch up in our next fun session.